you haven't seen for a while? When is the last time you've looked at your parents' album? Prepare to turn your clocks back. No, it's not for the daylight savings time fallback. That's in November. It's a brief glimpse into the 1950s. It's hard to believe, Mitch is that old, isn't it? Please welcome Mitchell Phillips.
In 1968, Paul Simon gave us a song called Bookends. And the words start out with, "Time it was, and what a time it was. A time of innocence." I've recently rediscovered a couple of photographs, and we'll pass copies around to everybody, that reminded me of a time that was. It was a time of innocence when you didn't have to worry about locking your door at night, when you could let your children take their bicycles downtown to go watch a movie by themselves, when you didn't worry about your children riding on the bus without a parent. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmaster, honored guests, as you pass these photographs around, we will tour this time together. To the year of 1954, to a place called the Phillips Bakery. The man in this picture is my stepfather, and as you look at the picture, you're going to notice that these are roasting pans, not bread. Well, every Thanksgiving and Christmas, that bakery oven would transform into roasting meats. Up to 75 turkeys at a time. Imagine that aroma. Imagine the size of that oven. Now the woman in this other picture, that's my mom. And she married my stepfather in 1953, and with that, our family joined his bakery business. I was young at first, and I'd spend the mornings at the bakery, sleeping. My mom would make a bed for me on the rack, and she'd put this green army blanket down, and I'd curl up on there, and amazingly, I would fall asleep. I attribute this to the huge electric motors that were running this mixer and this molder machine. It was like they hummed my lullaby. And as I slept, a true symphony unfolded to enhance my dreams. The instruments was the molder, a long wooden workbench, a balance scale for weighing the dough, a scraper that looked something like this. This is the best I could do on short notice. And with this large balance scale and this scraper, my stepfather would orchestrate an immutable rhythmic precision. He'd clack off a piece of dough and toss it onto that scale. And if needed, he'd get a few more snips of dough until that balance was just perfect. And then he'd snatch that dough up and he'd throw it into the chute of this molding machine, and that scale would drop back down to the bottom. So over and over, over and over, this process was repeated until the dough in this trough next to him was empty and the racks were full of perfectly formed loaves. That molder would whir and click and clunk and finally liberate that perfectly formed loaf. after the dough rose one last time, the final instrument in this symphony of bread was brought to its finale. It was that behemoth oven. That oven was 16 feet wide, 20 feet deep, 7 feet high. But that wasn't the amazing part. What was really amazing was how that oven was heated. In the back of the oven were 2 furnaces that were fed by coke. Shovel after shovel was thrown into the back, and it glowed red hot and transformed that meaningless dough into a perfectly golden brown loaf. Now these pictures I have revived many memories that I haven't thought about in a very long time. If you look here, we have 1-cent Tootsie Rolls, we have root beer, we have Neckos.
Oh.
We have 7 loaves of bread for $1. And we have a few chores that I recall that we had to do to keep that bakery running. I urge you all to find your own pictures in that old family album and take a minute to revive old memories that you may have. Bookends finishes with long ago. It must be. I have a photograph. Mr. Tucker.